I fell in love in that moment, and it just became this thing that I became obsessed with.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm gonna be in the gym every day because it felt really good for me.
Right.
Then I started seeing progress, and then I was like, dang, what's happening? Because I was also like over 200 pounds
Okay.
at this point.
Hello, everyone. We're here today with a very special guest here at BFT in Montclair. We're here with Coach Nay.
Woo! Girl, thank you so much for coming all the way to Little Montclair for this. I'm so excited.
Thank you. I'm so excited as well. I'm excited to talk to you. So let's step into it.
Yeah.
So what was the exact moment where you knew that fitness was it for you?
Man, this is such a deep question, and I feel like every coach or every personal trainer has a deep answer because it's almost the reason why we even get into this field. So for me, getting into this came from a place of just like lack, not feeling confident about myself. Like I struggle with anxiety and depression for such a like almost majority of my life.
Okay.
And it almost became an outlet to kind of help overcome some other really bad habits that I had. And I realized, okay, I need to move energy. I need to get it out, right? And so I remember one time it's so funny. I was in high school and I was an athlete too, like my whole life, but I had a lot going on as a kid at home that it just became really hard to even enjoy the sport that I was in, that I loved at one point, right? So I remember being in high school and my dad bought like a family membership to LA Fitness. So he was like, hey, we all going up in there, everybody's working out. Okay, so I was like, bet, I'm gonna take advantage of this. So I went into the gym and I would be that girl that was on the Stairmaster, right? Just the cardio machines because I was like, what is the weight? And back then, this was before it was cool for girls to be, to work out and for girls to be in the weight room pulling weights. Like the way that I go to the gym now and see a good amount of the weight floor being girls, I'm like, let's go.
Right.
Because back then, like 10, 15 years ago,
it was a man thing to do.
It was all men. And the only women you would see would be the OG bodybuilder women, right? That were in their like 30s and 40s already. So just a different dynamic. So anyway, so I'm on the Stairmaster. My dad got a personal trainer for himself. So I would be on there and I'd be taking down notes, yo.
Oh, you were ready.
I was ready. I was like, cool, what is my dad doing? What is this trainer doing? Bet. Arm thing, put your arm out, like, because I didn't know the names of anything yet.
Okay.
And then the next day I would go to the gym myself and I would do the exact movements on the machines, on the free weights and everything.
Right.
I fell in love in that moment, and it just became this thing that I became obsessed with.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm gonna be in the gym every day because it felt really good for me.
Right.
Then I started seeing progress, and then I was like, dang, what's happening? Because I was also like over 200 pounds at this point. And so when you started seeing the progress and I was like, wow, this is so exciting. I feel so good, right? Like I feel good. My clothes are fitting better. Like all that stuff. I was like, I think I can do something here.
Right.
I think I can do something here. So yeah, it came from a place of deep hurt, but I turned it into passion.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, and purpose, yeah.
Can you talk to me a little, is it too personal, the mental health?
Not at all.
Okay.
No, I'm super open book about that.
How did you utilize fitness, and was there other things as well that were able to carry you through your mental health journey?
Yeah, I use it as an outlet because at first I was using like substances and like, I had some like self-harming experience. And so I realized, okay, I need to get energy out. And that, like when I started working out, when I started lifting, especially weights, weights changed the game for me.
What do you think it is about weights? Because you're not the first person I've heard, and I'm like trying to figure out what is the connection with it.
I think it's a couple things. It's the fact that it's hard.
Okay.
It's heavy.
Right.
And there's satisfaction of being able to still do that, And it builds a lot of confidence knowing that like, there's a boy in the mirror and we doing the same thing right here. Like you looking at your biceps, I'm also looking at my biceps, And I think it helps too, like for women, especially nowadays, we're shifting from that, I want to get as small as possible. I want to shrink to, I want to feel badass.
Right.
I want to get as strong as possible, right? And almost like whatever body that is the one that I love because it's my strongest self.
That's right.
And I think that itself like can really only be achieved with resistance training, with dumbbells, with barbells. Yeah.
So with that being said, what do you think shifted like culturally where women started being able to kind of like own it and be a part of the movement as well?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. I think, first of all, I gotta give respect to the OGs, like the OG women bodybuilders, the OG women powerlifters, because they were the ones to pave the road for us, right? Especially back in the, early 2000s, back in the 90s, like that was not the time for women. And I mean it from a society's view. That was not the time for women to be like
super skinny.
Exactly. Look at the magazines, look at the commercials, like look at the women in the media, right? There was like, they didn't do weight training because it was too bulky, it's manly. Like that place was only for men. To the point where even like the women in that industry were looked at a certain way because they had muscle mass. So I just want to give a huge shout out to them because they have paved the road. And also I feel like that transferred over into athletics for women, right? Sports for women.
I'm even thinking of Serena Williams.
Exactly.
And how like people used to make fun of her. And that's the body that a lot of people want.
Look what that body, exactly. And also look what that body could do. Like that's amazing. Like, are you kidding me? Like, yeah. So I think it was time and just more women taking the risk of what society is gonna say, and with all due respect, how men were gonna view them. And just putting themselves out there. I say that too with the coaching industry. Super male dominated. Super male dominated industry. And then it got women to be like, you know what, let me study this. You know what, let me look into this. Let me be a coach, right? You even see it too with sports in terms of like the broadcasters. And exactly.
I'm seeing more women presenters.
Exactly. It's almost like our opinion is now being taken serious because we're stepping more confidently into these spaces, which I think is so dope, and I love it. Shout out to the women who paved that road for us, because the OGs, we would not be where we're at as confident as it was back then, because like literally
the perception is so different.
It's so different now, but it's thanks to the OGs again.
They paved the way.
They did. So my youngins in the gym right now, the girls, always pay respect to the elders.
Somebody who started it first.
Pay respect to the elders because they put y'all on to be able to walk in there so confidently.
That's right.
And I love it. Keep doing it.
So when it comes to coaching, because you touched on something that was interesting, what is the difference, I guess, from a woman coaching a woman versus a man coaching a woman? Is there a difference?
Oh, you put me on the spot with this.
You
put me on the spot with this one. No. Is there a difference? I think there's multiple ways to answer that question, being super straight up. Because I think a lot of coaching, especially from being in the game for a while, it's great to have credentials. You should have credentials as a coach, right? You should be constantly learning more because things are ever changing within this department, right? We're learning more about the body. We're learning more about like strength, what affects what, like things are always changing. So I think it's important to continue your education. However, I'm gonna be so straight up, and I might get some mixed feedback on this, but when it comes to coaching, it's a people job. You know what I'm saying? You can have all the certs, all the levels, all the accreditations, but if you don't know how to talk, if you don't know how to translate something that's going to make sense for the person you're coaching, it's a people job, you know? And that's usually also why clients go to certain coaches or like certain coaches more. Now, when it comes from a male and a female perspective, I don't think that makes a difference. I think it's more preference and what the client feels comfortable with. Like, I love learning from both. It's whoever I just feel more connected with, but I think both equal pathways to success.
Perfect. Lately, I've been seeing more things regarding like women in their cycles and kind of like how to map out like certain level of activity around the cycle.
Yes.
Do you think that's like, do you see that like being a myth, or do you see that as like something that is really valid, even like for your own body, like when you're working out?
This is such a good question. So I want to clarify too. You're talking about cycle syncing, right?
Yes.
All right, let's put it all out there.
Okay.
Do I, as a strength coach, believe in cycle syncing? Absolutely not. It's very nuanced.
Right.
I think it's frustrating as a strength coach, as a female strength coach, when I hear about it, because there's an underlying tone of still feeding the mindset of gentle, pretty, petite, careful,
Yes.
because when you look at how they define it, they go, okay, when you're in your luteal phase, the phase before menstruation, right before you bleed, you're probably gonna feel really tired. You wanna back off the weights, like all that stuff. Like, so it almost says like during your follicular or your ovulation, I forget which phase they label when to do strength training, is when you should be lifting weights because you feel your best.
Right.
Then the next week you should be doing like low, moderate cardio. And when you look at that on a monthly basis, you're not making any progress because you're not consistent in anything. Every woman is different with their cycle.
Right.
There's some women who don't experience any period pain, right? There's some women who, when they experience fatigue, it's maybe later on in their luteal. There's some women who don't have a regular period. Like, there's so much to it to be like, this is what you should do. And I'm gonna keep it so 100. Every cycle is consistent for the most part on my end, but I've hit some epic PRs on my menstrual cycle. And to think if I would have followed cycle syncing, I could have left so many gains, progress on the table, right? So I think it just all goes back to knowing your body and being consistent in a program and resistance training. That alone will give you way more data on how to go about your period and your entire menstrual cycle than following a guide that somebody tells you should feel you should do. So that's my honest, brutal opinion. Okay. So if I had to smash or pass. And here's the beautiful thing about strength training. When you show up, you don't have to give 100% every single time. You shouldn't. You shouldn't be able to give 100% every time if you're doing strength training and resistance training the proper way to actually see progress. You can't. It's almost, when you're resistance training in a progressive manner, meaning that at least on a week-to-week basis or on a block-to-block basis, you're going a little tiny bit, you're almost like attacking the stimulus in a little bit more than you did previously. You're not doing that every single day, every single week for like forever.
Correct.
It's strategic, right? You pull back certain days. Most of the time, you're chilling in like a 60 to like 80 at the max % of what you can do. That's actually more realistic than going super heavy every single day, every single week. Like you're gonna stunt your progress way quicker than attacking it moderately and then hitting your heavy lifts, giving that max strategically throughout the year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's good to know.
Yeah.
It's not about the 100.
Not about the
60
100.
to 85 is
That's where the real magic lasts. If you can show up 60 to 85% at least 3-4 days out of the week, like that goes way farther than one time at 100, one time at 20, 3 times not showing up because that 100 took you out.
What's something you've learned through coaching people at BFT?
Ooh, something that I've learned through coaching at BFT. That's a really good question. I've learned so many things about myself, about the members. Coaching at BFT really taught me a lot about leadership.
Okay.
Not only to my members, but to my teammates.
Right.
You know? And it taught me a lot about being humble, being patient, and that just because I say something doesn't mean it's gonna connect. Remember when I told you earlier how that communication between a client and a coach is so important?
Right.
Doesn't matter how much you know, but how well can you say it?
Right.
Yeah, so there's like this saying, and I think it's by Einstein, this quote, and I might totally butcher it, but it's something along the lines of like, if you cannot say something, explain it so simple, you don't know it well enough yourself, right?
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, and it's so true. If you can't simply break it down in like the least amount of terms and so crystal clear, then you may not know it well enough yourself. And that may not be from like an educational standpoint, but in the standpoint of like, how was your delivery, you know? How are you communicating? Like, so coaching at BFT, like that's taught me a lot about leadership and communication and like, how can I be a better coach for my members, you know? Because it's never about me. And that was, I'm not gonna lie, when I was a coach in my 20s, it was all about me.
Okay.
You know, I was a one-man band star. Right. I thought I was like the hottest thing ever.
You were the girl. You were that girl.
I was that girl. Then I realized with experience, right? Dang, none of this is about me at all. Okay. And can be ripped away from me very quickly. So yeah, working here has just, it's been a really humbling experience, but in the best way possible. Yeah.
What shifted for you where it became, okay, now it's not about me, it's about the people?
What shifted for me was when I had lost, well, I quit a job right before the pandemic. Right. And it was the most heartbreaking thing because I truly, genuinely had such a relationship with every single member that I had. To this day, I have so much love for them, but I also was very selfish and thought, you know, when you think you're like so hot that you're like, oh my God, this business is gonna fail without me. Oh my God, all these people are gonna come with me, right? Oh my gosh, I'm like this all-star, da 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 da. Then I was put in a position with the pandemic to experience entrepreneurship because I still had to pay bills, I still had to pay rent, and all the gyms were shut down. Everything was closed. Nobody was hiring, obviously, like all of that, right? And I was like, dang, I gotta figure something out. So it put me in a position to go out there and to, this is terrible, but we're past the time, so you can't cancel me. Right. I was out there coaching on the streets. I was out there like getting everybody to come to my backyard, and I would run boot camps and everything. And it was in that moment that I realized, wow, even through a pandemic, people want to move their body because they feel good and they all have a lot going on mentally. So I coached and went into fitness because I had a lot going on mentally. So when I was put in a position to see that in reverse because of the pandemic and how much fear it brought into everybody's life and how they still needed an outlet, that's when I also realized in that moment, dang, you're here for the same reason I'm here. I have one job and one job only, is to keep you safe and to provide you with the best experience, because I have no idea what's going on in your life, just like you have no idea what's going on in my life. But for this 1 hour, we're showing up for the same freaking reason. And that's kind of when things shifted for me into being like, it is all about them, never about me. Yeah.
So the pandemic did it.
The pandemic, girl, losing a job was very humbling. Right. And then having to be an entrepreneur and figuring it out.
What was your initial thought process? Because when the pandemic first happened, we didn't know what was happening, what the timeline was going to be. Now we can look back at it. We're like, oh, that happened. But it was scary. It
was terrifying.
How did you even have the courage to still be like, this is what I love to do, and I'm still going to do it, and we're going to come out of it?
I'm be so straight up. Okay. Knowing that I had to pay rent in like 28 days.
Got it.
Knowing that regardless, I had to figure it out, and also knowing through my journey too, like I went through a lot in my life right before the pandemic too. I was like hospitalized, like I almost lost my life. So it was like, yo, I tell myself I went through the worst thing that could possibly ever happen to me, and I survived it, and I figured it out, and I did that on my by myself. That was like, this pandemic ain't got nothing on me. We're gonna figure it out. We're gonna do what we're gonna do. We're just gonna push through, tunnel vision, do it for the people, pour into the community, and like the rest is literally in God's hands. Right. And it worked out so well for me. Yeah. Look
at God.
It was, no, for real.
Your testimony, girl.
Oh my gosh. It took a lot for me to put that up there, and I prayed about it. And I was like, and you don't have to put this in if you want. So I was like praying to God, because I was like, yo, I feel like such a phony, God. Like I feel like nothing's really happened in my life. Like how am I able to preach the story about your son and people actually believe me? Like what do I have to show for it? And so I prayed really hard. I'm like, please, like take the blinders off, like show me. And then I was putting a piece of content together, and I was like, oh, I have some videos from Snapchat, and I went through that. And as I'm putting everything together and I'm writing out the caption, it was in that moment of that video that I was like, bro, you went through it. And I was like, this is the testimony. And it didn't even click for me until that moment. And I was like, dang, God is so good. Thank God.
God is good.
For real.
That is one thing because I was taking my notes, I was going through this morning. If you want to speak on it,
yeah.
But I noticed like you are very faith-led, and I don't know if you still do it, that you also like do like a prayer call for women.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about how your faith gives you the strength to do what you do and just be here, period, like outside of even coaching.
Oh my gosh, I love that you asked this. I also just want to be super transparent with everybody. I'm faith-led now.
Okay.
Like, I'm faith-led now. Right. I accepted Jesus like a couple months ago. Like, I always believed in God. I was like wishy-washy though. Like, I wasn't in it. Like, I just said what everybody else says. Yeah. But like, I wasn't living in that way, right? I didn't truly accept it. And it wasn't until I had to go through a radical change in my life, some breakups. I had to move last minute. I had to just like, my entire world crumbled apart, and I still wasn't there yet. And then this is only a couple of months ago, which is why I'm so passionate now, because I fully stepped into that. I fully accepted Jesus as my Savior, you know? And I think it's scary, especially in today's world, to even talk about things like this. Because sometimes it can be associated with a lot of hate and judgment. And I have to remind myself that, like, I can't let that stop me from potentially planting the seed that could change somebody else's life, because that's exactly what happened to me, right? And so the prayer call was me and one of my best friends. We run a Thursday night Zoom just prayer call at 8:30. We do prayers and praises, and it's really just like a girl yap session for like 30-45 minutes.
I love that.
We talk about our praises, we talk about our prayers that we have for anybody, the community, ourselves, what's going on in our personal lives. And it's really comforting because we get to connect on things that maybe not the entire world, or not every one of your friends, or not every one of your coworkers, you know, can have that conversation.
You have to kind of test the waters.
We do. Yeah.
To be able to be completely vulnerable.
Exactly.
In community.
Yeah. And you also have to be really mindful of who you're also receiving advice from.
That's true.
And it's not to judge the person. They just may not know, you know, what they're saying, and maybe how harmful that it could be. But when it comes to like what I do as coaching and outside of it, like especially now, like I just show up and I kindness and love, and that is all that I can do, and that is all that I will do. And if anybody ever wants more, or if I'm ever in a place where, you know, the Holy Spirit be like, pray for her, I'll ask. I let God do his thing, because once again, it's not about any of us at all.
So what's one lesson that coaching has taught you about discipline?
Discipline about me, or discipline members, or as a whole discipline?
As a whole. You can attack it from all the areas, all the lenses.
Love that. One thing I've learned about discipline is it comes from consistency. And the great thing is what you do in the gym. So when you see people who are really consistent in the gym, whether it's conditioning, whether it's strength training, whether it's just going for walks, whether it's whatever it is that works for them. But I'm going to really also touch heavy, because I'm a strength coach, on the strength training part, the resistance. It carries, that level of discipline carries and pours over into your everyday life in many different ways. Because when you start doing something and showing up regardless of how you feel, and you do that day in, day out on a weekly basis, even if it's not at the 100% that we talked about, it doesn't matter, right? It's like whether you feel good, whether you don't feel good, like none of that matters. Which I'm going to throw, I think, is a perfect opportunity to like how faith also goes into fitness, because there's a Bible verse, Jeremiah 17:9, that literally says like, don't trust your feelings, don't trust your heart, because they fluctuate so every single day.
You'll be up one day and down tomorrow.
If you only make decisions off your feelings, that sounds stressful. Like, then you're never going to be consistent.
That's right.
Because your feelings are never consistent, right? So with that being said, you start to see that carry over into everybody's life in how they go about work, their mood, what they let affect them, right? Their goals. the way that they take care of themselves, decision making, the people around them. And there's a literal transformation that happens like almost by accident just because you are disciplined in one thing.
Right.
And it's just beautiful. So that is the number one thing. Anyone who's disciplined in anything consistently, that benefits you for the most part, okay? Because you can be disciplined in like drug use.
Yes.
Not
we don't want to be.
It's gonna he's gonna pour you the other direction, and the other things are gonna pop up, but we want to go that way. So yeah, it pours into their everyday life, and you can see it, and it's so subtle in the beginning. But dang, a year then from that moment, you're like, who
it's the mustard seed.
It's the mustard seed. Yes, exactly.
What does pouring back for you look like? Because you're taking care of everyone, making sure everyone's good. How do you make sure Nay is good too?
Wow. I think every coach struggles with this, if I'm being, and let us know, like in these comments, right? Let us know in the comments, like trainers, coaches, like anybody that has a career that pours so much into everybody else. It's people driven, right? That's results driven. Like, this is like the hardest part. It's the hardest part is, okay, how do I pour back into myself? Because if I don't, it goes back to them. Then I'm not giving you my best. Now I have nothing in my cup to give to you. That puts them again at a disadvantage, right? My job is to show up the best that I can regardless of how I feel and give you what you need in that moment. So for me, that looks like, it's going to be really boring things, but it looks like making sure that no matter what, I prioritize time for myself, workout wise, because it's so important to me to feel good, move good, and lead from the front. How can I tell you what to do with the weight and I don't even do it myself on a weekly basis?
Right.
It's crazy to me, you know? So making sure no matter what, and I got better at this year with putting boundaries up. Like, okay, that's great. This happens. We got a meeting. Yeah, I got to hit deadlifts. That's priority for me right now, you know? And then making sure I eat enough, I sleep enough. Very basic things, but makes such a difference in your mood. And then I make sure too that I take some time to call loved ones, and honestly, like reading the Bible and just building that relationship with Jesus has filled a lot of holes in my heart. So that's where I'm thriving like right now, and that's what's filling up my cup the most. Like overflowing, if anything. Good. Like I can't even have a cup anymore. I need to get like a bathtub.
You need
a bathtub. So
you need a jacuzzi.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, that is beautiful. So Nay is a woman of many talents, many strengths. One of the things that she also does is hosting. So can you tell us a little bit about the Strong Girl Social Mixer that's happening soon?
I'm so excited. Yes, so this is the second time that we're hosting this workshop. And I am so blessed. I have an amazing boss. He pours into my leadership and entrepreneurial spirit so much. So I'm so grateful to be put in a position where I can do things like this and give back to the community. So the Strong Girl Social Mixer is, we do it at BFT, so I get to coach it and also host it. So I bring the worlds together, which is so fun. And it is for my true love of networking and bringing women together. That is like what I love doing the most. You throw a barbell in there. So it is a 2-hour networking event, but it's not just any networking mixer. We're just coaching, getting women stronger and getting a barbell in their hand, and bringing women together so they can collaborate, right? So they can make relationships in the community, and they can build business collabs and support each other more in the community. So it's a 2-hour networking event. The first hour is strength training. We hit the barbells for that first hour. Nothing else matters. And in the second hour, we open it up for the social mixer. Okay. So that's where everybody has name tags. They meet each other. I introduce people. If I'm like, hey, this person's a lawyer, you're a real estate agent, you guys would be like great like business collabs to have each other as like personal contacts, right? So it's just an opportunity for women to come together and sweat, lift heavy, and then build connections within Montclair and the surrounding areas. So the next time that we're having it is going to be July 2nd. That's a Thursday, coming up in like 2-ish weeks. And it's going to be from 6 to 8 o'clock. We're going to have vendors, because the other great thing is I love involving the community. Nice. So I have my friends who own businesses, I will ask them to actually put a table up They get to give samples out. They get to promote their own businesses for that time. And it's all women. It is females only.
Let's go.
Okay? Up to the coaching staff. Females only. And the playlist is popping. And it's just it's a beautiful place to be when women are just, like, literally nothing makes me happier than seeing women lift weights. Like, nothing makes my heart happier. And then watching everybody connect and hype each other and support each other, like, it's so beautiful. So I really hope to see more people there. Yeah, it's gonna be
Tell
great.
them again the date.
July 2nd, it's a Thursday, from 6 to 8 p.m. at BFT. So that's 469 Bloomfield Ave. We're on the second floor in downtown Montclair. 1 hour of strength training, barbell lifts, just lifting heavy things up and off the ground with other women in the room, hyping each other up, and then 1 hour of connecting with vendors, collaborating, getting to know other people, you know, swapping information, selfies, dancing, all of that.
What do you have coming up in the next few months? What can people stay tuned for? What are you excited about? What's coming in the future?
So I'm really diving into this whole, like, networking thing.
Okay.
So that's what Strong Girl Social Club is. And we're just finding ways to, we as in me and all the personalities in my head. I love it. We're finding ways to just connect women, whether that's through faith, whether that's through movement, whether that's through entrepreneurship, like any way possible, just getting like-minded women together to further themselves from a physical, mental, spiritual space. And again, just making all those connections. So really diving into that and building that within the community and online too, you know? So those are things to really look forward to. This Strong Girl Social Mixer, planning on doing it quarterly. So you should see it. I don't know what quarter we're in, honestly.
I think we're in the second.
Okay, so
yeah,
2 more.
Yeah, there we go.
2 more. And yeah, just getting out there.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
And where can the people find Coach Nay?
Okay, good. So you can find me on Instagram at Coach Nay, NAY _.